Well, first of all, we're thrilled to be here. This is, in our minds, the best tournament of its kind, certainly one of the best. And we're excited to be in what I think is a terrific field. We will learn a lot about our team, and obviously hope we can, our real goal is to come down here, play extremely well, and compete for a championship. But either way, no matter how it works, these tournaments have always played a pivotal role in our past seasons where we've learned a lot more about our team. We grew as a group, and we were much more ready for things to come than we were before these types of tournaments started. And because of the great field and 3 games in 3 days, I think this one in particular will really test us, and I think we're all very excited about the competition. And I think the other part of this trip is to be able to have Deandre return back to the place where he's from, very meaningful to him and his family. I know he can talk on that, but even for our program, it's always nice when we can bring somebody home that's not right around the corner.
You're here at Deandre's home. How is it like that he's in the U.S. all the time and now you're here? Like, what's the difference? What has he been teaching you? Has there been any food that you've eaten so far that's been different from back home?
We haven't had a chance to eat any of his Bahamian food, but we had a chance to do a community service thing and go to a school with some children and get to do some fun stuff and play basketball with them and really make their day, which was really enjoyable for us. And then Deandre is we're just excited for him to come back home, be around so many family and friends and so many supporters that he brings for the Arizona program. So really exciting for him, and we're excited for this tournament.
And then there's been a couple of Bahamians who played. You had Buddy Hill who played. None of them has ever won the tournament championship. I know you might not want to look forward a couple games, but what would be the importance of having Deandre give you the first Bahamian to win on his home soil of the trophy?
That would be great for him, and it would be great for our program. I think that's the simplest way to put it, but I'm sure that we'll have a lot of support, and either way, I'm sure they'll be proud of him.
Deandre, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, being the first Bahamian to win the tournament I like that. I want that title. Yeah, that's it.
How does it feel to be playing back home? Last year you were a spectator.
Oh yeah, watching I think Michigan State against who were they playing against? St. John's, yeah. It was live. It was a great environment. I didn't expect to. I didn't look forward to. I didn't know I was gonna be here to compete, but I'm ready. I'm waiting for the lights to turn on, and Arizona's just ready to compete.
But you felt the environment last year. Do you expect the same environment when you take the court?
Yes. Everybody was chanting, Tum Tum when he was playing every time he scored a basket, and I want that same thing when I play as well. Arizona. I think the whole of Nassau, really, rooting for Arizona this year.
Deandre, do you know Dwight Colby at all from Western Kentucky, who also grew up in Nassau?
Who?
Dwight Colby.
No, I never heard of him.
Deandre, the college game seemed easy to you early in the season. What has been the transition? Why was the transition so easy?
Easy? I won't say easy, but I like playing hard. Sometimes you don't want to. Defense is key for Arizona. Defense wins championships, and with defense, the offense comes easier to you, and you just have fun with the game, and you just do it. I just do what I gotta do.
We know the competition level from the first 3 games, Coach, is taking a step up. Like, what are you telling your players to expect? Because you have some young players, some old players, and then you have the veteran leadership. Are they saying anything to the younger players, what to expect for these matchups?
Yes, and I think that's one of the things that this year's team in Arizona has. We have 2 components. We have a talented group of newcomers. Deandre leads that group, but he also has a few classmates that are also very important to our team. And then we have some veterans like Allonzo that have been through seasons and tournaments like this, and it's that blend that we really count on. But I think answering your question about Deandre, there's a big difference between high school and college. And this tournament, we've played 3 home games. This team's never played away from home. That's a big difference. playing 3 games in 3 days is a challenge for any athlete, especially in the month of November. But this competition, the coaches, the players, the teams, there are teams that have won national championships. There's teams that have similar goals that our program has. So we'll learn a lot more about our team, and I think it will challenge all of us, these 2 guys included, more so than maybe the first 3 games did in McHale Center. And really that's what this tournament's about, growing, learning, and can we compete for a championship while we're doing that? Great. And so we're excited to be here.
And you talked about, Brian, this is just a general question. You were in Spain earlier this year. How does going to Spain help you for this tournament?
Well, there's a lot to that trip. First of all, we had 10 practices that which you are not able to get unless you go on a trip, and we took full advantage of that. Again, the younger guys, I think they really became accustomed to our system, how we do things, how we practice. The older guys had a chance to set the tone and help us teach them. You know, the trip in and of itself, it was it was a powerful trip. We ended up playing 2 games. We were around each other in a beautiful country, and obviously it got cut short because of the terrorism that happened there while we were on the trip, which that's a whole different setup. So you think about that, there's a lot that happened to us, and I'm sure in a lot of ways we grew closer, appreciated what we have more, and here we are.
Prior to coming down here, I was listening to a press conference, and Deandre was trying to explain to you all about Atlantis and the environment. Is it what you expected, what he told the old guys from?
Yeah, yes, and we've I know I have been here 2 different times, actually with 2 different teams. Xavier many years ago, and one of our first trips we took was we took a foreign trip, the one similar to Spain, but we came here, stayed at the Atlantis. We were in the Bahamas, but it's a beautiful country. The weather's incredible. The weather for us you think is the same, but it's much different from the humidity perspective. In Tucson, Arizona, the mornings and the evenings right now are cool. There's very little humidity, beautiful during the day. Here, it's not as cool in the mornings and evenings, but it's a world-class resort, and this tournament, too, speaks for itself. We all have followed the tournament's growth, the teams that have been in it. There's been Final Four teams that have won this tournament, some that I think maybe have been in this tournament and didn't win it and went on to a Final Four. So to be a part of the tournament and be here in the Bahamas, and have Deandre as part of our team, it's really a special time. Thanksgiving is this week as well, so we'll be able to celebrate that together here, and it's should be a special week.
Coach, do you have kind of, at this point, is compared to like Maui as far as how you prepare to it? I mean, do you have it down as far as how you approach this scouting-wise and getting the team ready? I mean, do you focus a lot on NC State, or is it more the whole, doing what you're doing this time of year?
I mean, you have to prepare for a lot more than just the first game, because whether you win or lose, you have 2 more that are coming. So, the tournament of 3 games in 3 days, not all tournaments have 3 games. Some have a day break after the second game. So 3 games in 3 days is quite a challenge, and we prepared for it. Yes, we prepare for this tournament the same as we prepared for Maui. We've been there twice. So we're following that script.
What do you expect then from NC State? You made a reference the other day just about defense, maybe what they can throw at you defensively. I mean, what kind of concerns do you have about this first game?
Well, I know their coach well. He's a good friend of mine. He really did an incredible job at UNC Wilmington, Kevin Keats, and he brings a style that's unique. Presses really the entire game, presses on made field goals. Very few teams do that. He changes his presses. It's not just one type of press. And right now I believe they're leading the nation in forced turnovers. So we're well aware that, any team that prepares for NC State this year and beyond, I think it's going to start with taking care of the ball, being able to get great shots, not have unforced turnovers, and then sometimes hopefully create easy baskets, because we have good players, and hopefully we have a confident group that can attack that press. They also are a high-energy team, play 10 players, offensive rebound, and they've done a great job doing that. I think they're the type of program that wants to outwork you, and we have to be ready from the opening tip to the final buzzer, because their style always allows them to make a comeback, always allows them to stay in the game. And, I think from that perspective, you can stay in the game as well. But it's going to be a 40-minute game. They're from obviously a great conference, the ACC. They play against the best, and we respect it. We respect them a great deal. Our only focus with our players is on NC State, and then our staff obviously is preparing for others when that game ends.
DeAndre, how many family members are you expecting?
Quite a few. I mean, only my dad lives out here now, and my few cousins.
Coach, first couple of days, first game DeAndre got cramps. How is it to manage the minutes and conditioning of 3 games in 3 days?
Well, young players typically that's what happens early in the year, and we've talked to DeAndre. That's one of the many lessons you learn playing college basketball of the importance of hydration, rest, what it feels like to be able to give that much of yourself, in practice every day, and then all of a sudden you're playing games. But it's not just him. I think just generally our entire team in the month of November, conditioning grows, and again, we've talked about it. That's one of the many challenges that we're looking forward to, of seeing how we're able to deal with 3 games in 3 days. And let's face it, the 7 other teams are doing the same thing as us as well. So that's what makes a tournament like this, I think, special.
Does this ballroom, you've been here twice before. I don't know if you played here, DeAndre, when you were in that exhibition game a few years ago. Okay. I didn't know, does it have any effect that you've seen with players before as far as the...
I'm sure it doesn't. I haven't been in there yet. DeAndre's been in there.
You didn't play here for the exhibition games? Was that elsewhere?
No.
Okay. So I didn't know. I mean, you guys haven't practiced there yet. Or I was wondering, or Allonzo too, if you even looked in there.
I haven't seen what the court's like, no.
Coach, what is it that makes Allonzo such a special player?
Well, I think number one is work ethic. He loves the game. There's a lot of players that love the game. They say it, they talk about it, but he backs it up by his work. I don't know if I've coached a player that's been in the gym more after practice, first to come to practice, has a routine on game day. He's a creature of habit. He's really, when he was a high school player, he was very, very good. But, I think he'd be the first one to tell you that, he lived at the foul line. He drove the ball. He was a streaky shooter. But he's turned himself into an excellent shooter. And the other thing, to his credit, he's learned how to play the game with 4 other players better than he ever has, where, he dribbles less, he's more efficient. I think that if you look at his numbers, whether it's free throw percentage and attempts, field goal percentage, attempts, 3-point field goal percentage, assist to turnover, he's off to a great start in those efficiency categories, and mostly because he's earned it. He's fought hard, overcome adversity, but he's somebody that really, really invests a lot of time to become a better player.
How exciting is it to determine not just the teams that are in, but the players? You have some of the top players in America that are all here competing.
That's why we wanted to play here in this tournament, to play against the programs that are Final Four caliber, that have been there before, players that have been there before, coaches. That's how you learn a lot about players like Allonzo and DeAndre. For them to improve, they really need to be challenged. And this week's going to challenge everybody, from an individual player to a coaching staff. And I think when it all ends, you're that much more prepared for the things that are left on your schedule. I know there's a lot of programs that have a different philosophy, maybe not embracing these types of tournaments as much. But I think our philosophy at Arizona is, when you get on this neutral court setting and you're in tournament play, it really does, in fact, make your team tougher and more ready for things to come.
Allonzo, I was just curious what you're looking forward to this week, especially the start you've gotten off to. If you're kind of, I almost wondered if 6 days off has been, are you anxious to get out there and try it in a different environment?
Yeah, really excited to get out there and compete, with such a great field. And a really high competition level, and it's going to really test our team and us as individual players, our coaching staff, and everything. So we're excited for the talent ahead.
Do you feel like your shooting has been unbelievably efficient? Do you expect a little bit different challenge here, and people are going to come after you more than normal? You always have that, but I don't know. Do you expect it can be a different environment in some ways?
Different environment. All I know is that we're going to be playing against another team on a basketball court, and the same rules apply, the same, so I'm going to go out there and do what I always do, compete at a high level and be myself.
Sean, I was wondering, you guys agreed to come here back in October 2013. I looked it up. I think he was a freshman in high school. I believe you were aware of him at that point, and
I'd like to take full credit for that
Yeah.
right there, but no, I'm not that sophisticated. We're fortunate to have Deandre here. He'll be the first one to tell you. I don't even think he knew that we were in the tournament until I told him sometime after he decided. But timing worked out for sure. But no, there was no preconceived.
And how does it work? Again, you have so little time here. Do you plan to do anything where the guys have some open time to do the water park or any of that kind of stuff, or is it too busy?
Yeah, I mean, they only have so much energy. You know, we went to did a community service project this morning, which was really close to where Deandre grew up. Saw a lot of younger kids, which was great for them to see him and meet our team. I'm happy for our team that we had a chance to do that, especially over a Thanksgiving break. And other than that, you know, it's so much about the focus of trying to be the best team and player you can be. Again, we've talked a lot about the energy it takes to play 3 games in 3 days. Our guys will enjoy the scenery. They'll enjoy Atlantis, but you know, I don't think they'll be going up and down water slides and things of that nature at this point. I hope not, anyway.